So the past 24 hours have been absolutely crazy for crypto holders. Bybit, one of the most famous crypto exchanges ever, got hacked. And theoretically speaking, it's the biggest theft in history, just of anything, because it's 1.5 billion US dollars. And obviously, it affected the market a little bit. So prices of almost any single crypto coin went down, but not for too long. And the main reason I think is because CZ, the founder of Binance, and actually many of the other crypto spearheads were all basically of the field of, hey, if Bybit goes down, if something bad were to happen here because of bad actors, it would ruin everything. But let me just say it like this. If you are afraid of Bybit causing an FTX-like collapse, think again, because at the back end of FTX, it was all a scam, it was all bad business, etc. So the moment that withdrawals started to flow in, it was really, really bad. But also, the way I'm seeing it, FTX is really separate from like the cartel circle almost of exchanges. All these exchanges, they all work together for the most part. FTX was kind of like a side, because American, and these are mostly, the Asian region, for example, as well. In this case here, a very big difference is when FTX went down, for example, CZ and a lot of people, they were kind of encouraging the idea that things were strange in the back end. With Bybit right now, with this massive hack that just happened, every single exchange, CZ and all the guys from Binance and all the other exchanges were very much supportive, saying, hey, if there's anything we can do, let us know. We want to make sure you get out of it. And I would say partially that's because, like I just said, if something bad were to happen to Bybit, it would hurt the entire industry because it's just that large. But also because it's not their fault. They can manage fine. It's not that much money to them. $1.5 billion is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. But $1.5 billion to them, it's going to eat out of the profit if they can't get everything back. But that's about it. It's just like, for example, it's not the same, but it's an idea along the lines of if Amazon were to lose, $20 billion right now, it would hurt, right? It would not be fun, but they'd manage, if you get my drift. They would get over it because of what their model looks like. It's manageable money. And so when people get really, really afraid of, is my phone going? The only strange thing is they've lost the 50,000 ETH. I believe it was 50, whatever. I don't know exactly how much ETH it is, but they've lost the ETH, right? I'm thinking about it. Might be 500,000 ETH. Because I think it was 400,000 that was hacked in ETH, and then 100,000 in ST ETH. So that is kind of the strange part, because they might have to buy it back or so, which could be interesting, but they said they're not going to do that. But the counter to it is, if you think about it from the perspective of what really is the bad part here, it's only if they could not support withdrawals because it would be too much. And that's where people, I think, are wrong in some field. I get if people withdraw, right? I get if an exchange goes down that you take all your money out. But the thing is, if that does well, if it goes well and you can get all your money out, you're fine, right? CZ from Binance even said, hey, pause it for a little second, because the only way in which things sometimes can go bad is if the bank run is so great that you can't support it on the short term. So for example, meaning, let's say you have a working flow, right, of X amount of billions of dollars, but people want to withdraw every single penny of it. Even though it might be one-to-one backed, it might be used as collateral. It might be to some extent where they'll be fine, but their operations might be so far diverted for a bit that they as an exchange could not be doing proper anymore. And again, it would crash the market a lot, even though ultimately people will get their money back because, again, they've got it. But the thing with Bybit, and that's the way I see it, is they make too much freaking money for this small a thing to take them down forever. Again, it's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. It's a very, very big deal, but they'll be fine. And that's my own opinion. Again, I get people that withdraw. If you want to withdraw, take your money out, why not, right? Do as you please. Ultimately, no exchange in that sense is safe from everything. But in that sense, also your wallet. Something bad might happen. In this case here, from the way it happened, it's a very strange social engineering scheme that happened because I guess they were able to insert malware into a lot of different devices and were able to mask Safe's, interface, which basically, let's say the way they do transactions is that multiple different people have to sign something, right? But what the hackers did is they basically took, I'm not sure, but I'm just guessing this is something along the lines of what happened, is they took those devices, PCs, let's just say, they inserted some sort of malware on whatever they were using to make sure that that little link that says confirmation, this is a solid transaction you're signing on all these different devices, and it had an overlay, just like how if you go to an ATM, there's like a little sticker on the ATM that takes in your PIN code, for example, or is able to, instead of you typing in 100 accidentally, and press confirm, it basically in the back end is actually 10,000 that you're doing something with, or it actually sends your bank balance away. Instead, you only wanted to withdraw $100. Not sure if I'm explaining it the best way, but it's like an interface thing. So you are seeing something that is not officially correct or not exactly what's happening in the background. I think that's for the most part what happened. And again, it's the biggest hack, biggest theft ever in the history of mankind as far as I get it. And it keeps me thinking, whoa, the fact that we only crashed like a few percent based on the biggest hack ever, and we're able to basically recover to normal withdrawals, normal situation in like half a day. This is the first time recording on the new phone, so it's a bit strange. It kind of proves to me that things at Bybit are pretty good, and I don't think they're going to be bad anytime soon. Because if this did not break them, I really do wonder what will. It's something you should think about. What can really break an exchange all the way, right? What can? If they've got the assets one-to-one, is it just massive liquidation sprees, I guess? But even then, what exactly will they be hurt of? What exactly will wreck them? Because trust me when I say I saw a lot of different theories about this over on the webs, but there's almost nothing that I can agree with to this point that I'm like, yeah, no, that makes sense. That would actually destroy. No. Everything thus far looks pretty solid for almost any scenario I can think of, as long as they're a major exchange and they're not doing shady stuff in the background, which thus far, Bybit has proven themselves to be good for. Binance has shown themselves to be good for, and a couple of those big exchanges have shown themselves to be good for. There's a lot of exchanges I do not trust. Just get like this. And a lot of exchanges would have never recovered from this, but Bybit, still strong, solid with them. And again, if you want to take your money out, just kind of feel safe for a little bit. Hey, nobody's going to judge you. Everybody understands. Even Bybit themselves, they said they had the craziest withdrawals ever in a few hour time span. And they said everybody will get their money. It's just a bit of time. Of course, almost any single person that I know also tested withdrawals just to see, hey, is money really flowing out? Just to be sure. Just to be sure. And it took a bit of time, but that's logical if there's all of a sudden a 4,000-fold in withdrawal requests because they need to move money again. But I also understand they're going to be quite cautious with moving money and approving transactions at the start, right? In case something crazy happens. And I do also get that just from a logical perspective. So anyway, anybody that withdrew probably has their money back by now that wanted to. So that means the flow is still solid. It's kind of funny to me that CZ, the founder of Binance, said, hey, even just stop withdrawals for a bit and figure out exactly where things are wrong so it doesn't happen again, so nothing happens else. And remember, Binance and many other exchanges get hacked in the past. Most of them did stop withdrawals. And if you think about Coinbase, for example, a lot of people are saying in the comment section, no, if this were to happen to Coinbase, it could actually never happen because I don't think he could sign BlackRock's rights away like that or this, that. My response to that would be, if something like this were to happen to Coinbase, just know that from second one, everything would be blocked, most likely for the next 3 months or so, or forever, potentially. Just know that they will not most likely act in the way that this did. In this case here, this is the best outcome for most people. Nobody lost money. It's not your money that's lost. Bybit will cover the loss if they do not get the ETH back, so it's just their profits that they're getting into. It's a very big hit for them in terms of, nominally, it's a lot of money, but they can take it. So ultimately, it's not necessarily doing too much. The only strange thing to me is that they have to buy the ETH back if they want to have the actual ETH, because theoretically speaking, if they want to keep a one-to-one backing, and I don't think they have 500K ETH themselves, right? So if they want to keep a one-to-one backing, they got to get that ETH back. Otherwise, the assets are back with stablecoins or so. But if the ETH price goes up a ton, then if everybody wanted to withdraw ETH, theoretically speaking, they have to buy it then, which might be a bigger loss for them at that point. Anyway, that's something I've been thinking about. But that was it for today's little crypto update. Just wanted to quickly share what's going on with the whole Bybit and crazy hack situation. Again, I still trust them. I'm still holding on there just fine. I still got my money on there. I'm good. But ultimately, it is your own decision. I think they're fine. Again, if every single other exchange supports them, we saw the massive amounts of loans they were able to get just to make sure that they could pay everybody out, to make sure everything stays completely operational. And if you're wondering, why take loans then if this one-to-one backed? Well, first of all, if actually a lot of people want to withdraw ETH, like I just told you, you got to be able to get ETH from somewhere. You got to keep that flow solid. And also think about it as well. Let's say they have operations or so. They might not have all the funds in one specific place. People want to withdraw, you need the specific wallets. It's a big process. So most likely, if you saw massive transfers, it's Bybit switching things around. There's probably a lot of other big whales or partners, like for example Binance, sending money over to make sure operations stay smooth, because the smoother it stays over on Bybit, the better it is for the crypto industry, the better it is for all other exchanges, and the better it is for your crypto bags as well. So if you're thinking, oh, you see, I knew, and I'm happy, I think it's gonna go down, just think about it like this. If you're holding crypto and you're hoping or thinking it's gonna go down, you better sell every single cent, because if this were to go down, I'm just telling you right now, our bags for a long time will be absolutely screwed. But I don't think it's going to happen. And I tell you very honestly, because, well, my own money is on there, right? Most of my crypto money, for example, that I've ever had in a place is on Bybit, to which I'll say, if I was scared, I'd tell you, but I'm not. Maybe I'm delusional though, but I think we're fine. I think the bad thing would have already happened if it were to happen. And I can't really think of any negative scenario because Bybit is just that rich. Just like with Binance, right? They had to pay a fee for the whole lawsuit situation. 4.5 billion. Was anybody scared? No, because it's not that much for Binance. Just like how if they have to pay a fee right now, 1.something billion, Bybit will gladly pay it. But now when it comes to the ETH being gone, it's a very big deal all of a sudden. No, it's not. It's just, again, bad for a bit. But that's all business, right? That's how I see it. Anyway, biggest hack in history. We all witnessed it. Crazy times. But ultimately, I think we will be fine. But not financial advice, obviously.